2 minutes. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bolingbrook. My name is Mike Lawler, and I'm your host for Bridging the Gap, February 1st, 2022. And thank you for joining our broadcast tonight. And for those who will see it in the future, we have a wonderful group of folks here tonight who I have had the pleasure of working with over a few years now. The wonderful thing about these leaders in our community is that they are putting on an amazing event. And this is the Black History Awareness Club of Bolingbrook. And we're going to talk about their history and the events and what they do in the community. So welcome tonight. Anita, if you could just give your name and your role with the organization.
Hi, thank you, Mike, for having us this evening. Anita Contos Carty, also known as Anita Contos Scott. I have dual names here. I am founder and executive director / treasurer of the Black History Month Awareness Club.
Great, thank you for being here.
Thank
Bernard?
you.
Yeah, so my name is Bernard Winston, also founder as well, Black History Month program. And again, thank you for inviting us to the program.
Well, thank you for being here. Herman?
That's my name, yeah. I'm Herman Winston. I'm a volunteer with the Black History Month program, have been acting in that role for several years, and thank you so very much for having us on your program.
Well, this is going to be fun. This is, as we have talked in years past, and we'll talk about the history in a moment, but the work that you have done over the years to truly make a difference in the community is inspiring. And I've said that before, and I'm going to say it every time we get together. And especially with this year's theme, I mean, I'm a big believer in education and giving every opportunity through education for folks. So I'm not going to give away the theme yet. I may have said a word. We'll talk about that. But as we do with any of these broadcasts of Bridging the Gap over the years, we want to understand a little bit of history about the organization and the activities. So I'll start with you. Both of you can fill in for each other and give us a history. It's only been a couple of years, right?
A couple of decades.
Yes.
Only a couple of decades. So this is our 24th annual event. I can't believe it's been 24 years. So we're looking forward to year 25. We're going to do it even bigger. We started out at the Levy Center here in town, and we quickly outgrew the space. And we were fortunate enough to have the new Bolingbrook High School built during, our 10 years of having the program. And so we moved into the Pat and Roger Clear Auditorium, which is now named, and which holds up to 800 people. And our goal is to fill that space 100%. We've come very close, and we have continued to basically educate through entertainment. So we call ourselves an edutainment platform. And by doing that, we've honored honor roll students through the middle schools, and we've brought programs that entertain as well as educate. And I'll let Bernard jump in terms of all the different events that we had, because I can keep talking.
Well, yeah. Also, just to mention, the founders actually was myself, Anita, and Felix George. Wanted to also give him his accolades because, again, Anita had the idea, Felix and myself just kind of like just had the opportunity to just bring everything together because at that time, 24 years ago, Black history was not celebrated per se in the community. And again, me coming up in the Valley View School District and back in the early 80s, we didn't have it. And again, I had the opportunity to go away to college and come back, and then meet up with leaders, community leaders such as Felix George, and Anita was at the time just graduating from University of Indiana, I think, with her master's. And
with my doctorate, excuse me,
yeah,
my law degree, my Juris Doctorate.
Yeah.
Don't take it away.
Oh yeah,
Go.
oh yeah.
Wow.
So at that time, I just came home from college, and at that time I was like a party promoter. So we kind of like just put our talents together and just came up with a concept. And 24 years now, still doing it strong.
Yeah, and the energy each year it gets better and better. I've talked about in years past, and I want to talk a little bit about the challenges that all of us faced in the past 2 years, and what was done last year. But before I go any further, you've got some current board members that are involved with the organization. Some have been on this program before in years past, so I want to give them recognition as well. If you could let us know some of the others in the organization.
Well, shout out to our partners in crime, Terry Ransom, who is our program director and also a current DuPage Township trustee. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us this evening, but she has given probably a decade of her life to this program, and so we'd be remiss not to mention her, and has been a staunch supporter and has helped us to grow to different levels, especially as the program director. And also shout out to Janice Haywood, who has also been, she is the vice president, excuse me, and she's also been with us for probably a better part of a decade, if not more, and has also done wonders in volunteering and contributing to basically our advancement and growth of our organization. So yes, we have partners in crime.
You've got a great team.
In addition to that, Randy Norman actually is our social media person, and actually he is going on his second year now. And Randy has been helpful, a godsend with the social media, because he's one of those millennials. So, without his help, we actually really needed it.
yeah, every organization has to weave in some folks throughout the year or throughout the years, and get new addition, new blood, and updated skills. I can barely operate. I'm in technology in the day job, but I'm better at breaking it than building it. So it's good to have some and next generation, the next generation
Absolutely.
stepping up and being involved is great. Well, before we talk about last year, I'm going to come back to you, and we talked about this. You're a volunteer. You've been at the event for several years. We know each other
Yeah.
pretty well. And you not only volunteer with this organization, you've been involved in other parts of the community. And that's the message I always like to share is any organization in town we're blessed to have a number of very good organizations, but you find, in the old saying, you find someone who's busy and you ask them to get involved, and they get involved.
Yeah.
So you might have a connection to someone here in the organization. How did you come to volunteer, and
Well-
why did you choose to do so?
Well, I've known Bernard his entire life. Entire. Okay. So, I'm about 5 years older than he is, believe it or not, and folks think that we're twins, but we're not. We grew up in Brooklyn. Our mother was a staunch supporter of all things community. We want to make sure that we pay homage to not only our family, but Anita's family has been at many late night meetings, where she literally had to balance being a mom, being a business person here in Bolingbrook. Bernard has a successful insurance business as well. So they're part of the community. To ask any one of us to help and volunteer, it's a kind of a no-brainer. I probably will be way more involved, but I travel so much that I'm not as active as they are. But I definitely want to make sure that we mention the commitment that their families have had to do over the years. Bernard's daughters playing basketball at the high school. Anita's sons are just doing amazing stuff with school. So for them to be so involved with this program for 24 years, it's a really big deal.
Oh, it's
You know,
huge. It's huge.
To want to do it is also very
To
challenging.
want to and to be able to do it
Yes.
is a huge commitment. And we're going to talk about some of the history. And it's very important for people to understand from the start, this was an amazing program, year one. But I want people to understand what to expect, and we'll get into this year's program in a moment. But, and we've talked about this before, what are some of the favorite moments that you've had, challenges that you met, favorite memories, I guess, that you have from all the years of service?
Well, I know my favorite moment is still going to be Spellbinder. And we had the African American musician, because that was my first time ever in my entire life experiencing that. So that was Spellbinder, and I was just in amazement. I'd seen magicians on TV, maybe a few shows, but just never an African American magician. And for that to be presented to the community and to have youth experience that, something that was just a little bit unique.
Yes.
And I know that it was very well received because he was invited to do other performances here in town. And so for me, that was a good moment. I was also in awe of Jesse Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I just really enjoyed that program. I think I was near tears just standing next to him and being able to present him our first Hall of Fame award, just for all the things that he's done for the advancement of African Americans and civil rights. It just was a moment for me.
International hero.
Yes, international hero. And we had the baseball player, Billy Williams.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
that was just amazing as well to stand next to him. So we've just had so many amazing moments. I promise it's like for the last 24 years, there's always been an amazing moment. There's always that one moment you're like, wow, how will we top this?
Yes.
And somehow we do. And every time people leave, they're like, this is the best program ever. And I'm like, really? And then the next year is like, this is the best program ever. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you really sincere? And people are sincere. So that's just encaps all of it. So.
And you're right. I mean, it's unique each year, and you bring they're major wow moments each and every year. Before I come back to some of your favorites, I want to comment on that for a moment. Do you have any favorite moments, favorite memories?
Yeah, I would say one of mine would be when we had invited one of the Tuskegee Airmen to come down, and like I said, that was kind of like a surreal type of thing for me, because plenty of times I had the opportunity to write like essay projects of such about the Tuskegee Airmen, but not having the opportunity to really sitting down and having a dialogue with one of the living Tuskegee Airmen. So that was kind of a surreal moment for me in that respect. I would say the other piece for me, I could remember my mom actually taking me to my first Black History Month program, and there was a fraternity, sorority type step show type thing there, and that was kind of like a surreal moment for me as well. But also, I want to say probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I had an opportunity to organize the same type of platform. It was a fraternity. It was the title was Stomp the Brook, and we had 9 of the Pan-Hellenic Greek Council fraternities and sororities there, and I could just reflect back the moment that I had with my mom on that particular show, but now having the mindset of saying that, okay, wow, I put this together, along with my team, but that was a surreal thing for me, and just to make sure that I had the opportunity to put all of that together, and looking into the crowds, and at that time, I mean, there were kids standing up and just applauding because they actually never had experienced seeing something like that in person. So it's kind of a different feeling of watching something on TV, also having a different feeling of actually being present and really seeing and hearing the stomping and
Feeling
stuff
it.
like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the live performance is you can't match. You can have as big a screen or TV as you want.
Yeah.
Being there live to experience it is so emotional, and incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk through we talked through some of the major accomplishments, and my extreme admiration, the ability to bring the people that you have brought here over the years that influence not only Bolingbrook, and really they're influencing the world in what they do and how they make a difference around the world, and being major influences and someone that we all can look up to, and you've been able to bring them here to Bolingbrook. So that's the thing that has inspired me all these years. I want to talk about the pivot that had to be done last year, and by bringing up Spellbinder and having seen him live at the Levy Center, and then seeing him last year on the virtual, I can appreciate how the quality of the experience that was provided last year for the attendees when we could not gather in person. So I want to talk a little bit about the program that you put together, maybe explain, and I know being able to log in there and be able to participate, but how did you, that's a whole different, that's a program that you had to put together. Doing it live is one thing, making sure you had something that could go well in a virtual environment. What are some of the things that you did last year to pivot and bring that program still to the community?
Well, first we screamed. Because what is this COVID thing?
Yes.
What are we gonna do? But then we regrouped, and there was just so much going on in the U.S. and the world, and so we wanted to make sure that we brought a program to everyone, and we felt that it was needed, and so we didn't want to sit it out. And so we kind of looked around to different platforms and how we would be able to deliver to the people. We sought volunteers. That's how we got our social media person. And so we started to figure out what we would do. And so we found a platform that was very unique. I think Bernard was just joking that we think we were the guinea pigs. And, and we had to kind of come to terms and, you know, get up to speed real quick with how to use the platform. And it was very unique because people were able to log in, see the show, and also be able to talk to everyone else that was present. They were able to use their picture, you know, kind of like this other platform that everyone's familiar with, but I won't name.
Yes.
So you could see the person in terms of their photo, and you can actually talk to them. And you can jump from table to table. And so we had groups of people at the table. We were able to show advertising. And it was really unique. And us as the organizers were also able to jump from table to table and speak to people at the table or speak to people individually. And so people were like, who's talking? I'm like, hi, how you doing, Mike? And, you know, you could hear me, I could hear you, and we could have a communication one-on-one or for the whole table. And so that kind of helped make the experience, the virtual experience, more real.
Oh, it was, yes.
So, and then we were able to have the performers that were live. Well, they were videotaped live.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to kind of stream that during the program and put that together and almost treat it like the Emmy Awards, like a true live performance that was virtual.
Yes.
And so that's kind of how we pulled it off.
Well, and this, I'm very sincere in this, we saw a lot of efforts around the world of people gathering virtually, musicians, theater, a number of things, trying to keep that experience and stay connected because it's still a very difficult time for all of us.
Absolutely.
I would put what you did last year, this is sincere, up against any of those Hollywood produced or corporate broadcast produced. I would put what you did last year up against all of them because the sequencing, the flow, the performers, some people don't do well in a recorded, they need a live audience, so I didn't see any problems with anyone who performed. Spellbinder blew me away the same way when I saw him live, in person. So I want to congratulate all of you for bringing the quality of that experience to those, not only in Bolingbrook, but being able to see that around anyone who was able to sign up anywhere in the world. So
yes,
Yeah.
and it's funny you say that because we literally had people that signed in from around the world. We had people from Netherlands, from London. Part of our team, even putting this together, I believe was from the Netherlands. Much love to Terry, who's not here. She did wonders, and Janice with this new platform. I was just like, how does this go again?
yeah, I'm having trouble with my mouse.
But it all came together and Mike, you have been at every single program for 24 years. So, those that are out there, he's not just putting on a show. He has actually come and experienced the program year after year. I think you should be sitting here and we should be interviewing you. You know this show frontwards and backwards.
Well, my role here is simple. I need to make sure that the community understands things, and so I'm here just to facilitate conversation, but I'm a huge fan as well.
We certainly appreciate
So
certainly appreciate
I
it.
would like to say that, again, echoing off her sentiments about Terry and Janice. They said they did the research and the due diligence, trying to figure out the pros and the cons about the platform. And once that was complete, we had the opportunity to reach out to sponsors because we wasn't quite sure exactly how were we going to have a program virtually and ask sponsors to sponsor for this particular program. So came up with the concept. The concept was actually, we actually had like tables that like the village could actually sponsor a table. We actually had
Banners.
3 floors. We had a penthouse, and each individual had the opportunity to go from floor to floor, and also sit at the bar. And again, it was a experience that we didn't know that we had.
Yeah, had a little bit of Matrix in there.
Yeah,
I did see that. I was a little concerned, but
yeah. You were on there, right?
Yeah.
so the go into
was
that a
around the
little bit
Super
more
Bowl.
if you don't mind. I mean, that was the unique thing. I did not see in all of the things that we experienced virtually with COVID and all the platforms and all the activities. That wasn't what you did. I saw nowhere else. So talk a little bit. You talked a little bit about visiting tables, but go a little bit more. Your plan there was to, as you described, so different floors, different rooms, different activities. How the platform came with that, but you had to design and figure out what to do with it.
Yes, we had a special designer to design a set. So if you think of a physical movie set, this was a virtual set that was customized to our event, which allowed the sponsors to have banners and videos to play, in terms of sponsorships. It had a stage where we as the organizers could show up on the stage virtually, of course. So it had a lot of features. And I'm not sure if we even utilized 100% of the features because it was so many. But our goal was to, at a time where people were under a stay-home order, people were scared, frustrated, going through a lot of things, including depression, illness, job loss, health issues. We wanted to be able to still bring the community together. There were a lot of divisiveness with racial discord, and we just wanted people to understand that we were still a diverse community, we were still inclusive, and that we're better together if we interact and still just promote something positive. So we wanted to give people the opportunity to tap into something positive, to have a positive experience. And one of the things that, I want to make sure that the audience out there understands is this is a free event. So it's 100% free. We actually give away things. So
Yes.
we give away
We give away
scholarships,
money.
we give away
Money,
prizes, and
TVs,
yes.
scholarships,
The raffles, yeah.
raffles.
So
yes.
we just want everyone to feel good, right? Happy Black History Month, everybody. So we wanted to be able to bring that to the forefront. And as you said, as many people in the community have been able to say, we pulled it off. And I think when you have a good heart and we put in a lot of hours, things come together.
You sleep the day after and
Yeah.
maybe for a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So things definitely came together. So we're glad to be able to do that. And so this year we're transitioning back to our high school, and we're going to do some live streaming. So it's going to be a little bit of a combination for
Good.
those that can't come out. We still recognize that we're dealing with some COVID issues and pandemic issues, as much as we all want to get back to 100% normal. So we want to kind of accommodate both things.
You probably don't have to do the rooms this year or the tables, but
No.
which worked. I was not as talented as moving around as I should have been, but it worked, and I thought it was really cool. So this gives us an opportunity now to talk about the event this year, and I'm glad you transitioned to that. Let's talk about we know the location, Bolingbrook High School Auditorium,
375 right away.
February the 12th.
February the 12th.
We are, as an organization, volunteers, right? We still need donations to make this thing happen year after year. Bernard and Anita and their team have been, you know, dealing with trying to raise funds for several years.
Yeah.
We recognize the 25th years are going to be a big year. It's an opportunity for the community to be able to help assist and fund these fine people with charitable donations. The effort that it takes to put on a program like this is monumental, right? Around town, you'll see flyers like this, you know, so we encourage people to not just walk over them, but to pick them up, tell a friend, post it on their Facebook pages or social media, so that we can maximize the number of people who are able to experience this type of a program, this quality level of program, to participate and tell other people in other communities, so that maybe we might be able to replicate this in a town like Romeoville or Joliet or somewhere
They're
else.
okay. I mean, we want them to come along.
But we want to be a pillar.
So let's talk about that for a moment. It's very important, and I want to make sure that our viewers and are able to understand donations are very important
Very
for
important.
all the different things that you're doing with the scholarships and everything there. So here's the point. Here's the part.
Is the plug.
Is the plug. So how do people find this organization, and how do they donate?
Well, they can go to our website, Bolingbrook Black History Month.com, and we do have links where they can push the button and donate. We take Zelle payments. We are a not-for-profit organization, and so those are the different ways that they can donate. They can always send in a check. They can do a Zelle payment. We switched to that because of the virtual
Yes.
COVID. Most people weren't necessarily in their office during the stay-home order. So those are the many ways that they can donate. Nothing is too small and nothing is too large. We are, again, a not-for-profit organization, and everything that we do for the community is free. We're 100% volunteer. None of us on the board takes, any compensation. And so we appreciate everyone coming together as a community to donate. Not only just monies, but we take in-kind donations. We also do advertising. So
Yes.
people can participate and support by taking out an ad. Or having a vendor table. So there's various ways in which there can be some participation.
I'm glad you brought up the vendor tables as you come into the lobby of the
Yes.
auditorium.
Yes.
That's where the vendor tables are.
A
And
lot
I
of
would-
small businesses.
I would really encourage someone who is looking, small businesses have had a tough time in COVID, and this is a good way to get the word out about your business. And so,
And we've had some excellent vendors
yes.
that have been with the organization for quite some time. Some of the corporate sponsors, I think probably Bernard can maybe dabble in that, or if this is the right program.
And we do want to talk about, give credit to those who have been sponsors and supporters over the years, the businesses and organizations.
yes.
But
Oh yes. So I'd like to give a plug out to our current sponsors. Walmart, Bolingbrook Park District, the Village, Bolingbrook Village, JetBrite, University of Illinois, Twin Benefits and Financial Solutions, the Bolingbrook Library, Cocktail Scotts and Associates, Illinois American Water, LinkedIn, Bolingbrook Trust, and missing abuse.
Citizens Against Abuse.
Citizens Against Abuse, Governor State University.
Yeah, Governor State, absolutely.
And when
I
they
serve
mention, when they mention these names, it's not just a list of names.
Right.
This is organizations and people that they've had to take and build relationships with over the years of a worthwhile program. There's a lot of people out there looking for donations.
Yes.
These guys have built something from a room full of 30 people to 800 people. They've
Yes.
had celebrity guests. They've got people who respect the effort that it takes to put into this kind of program, and they're willing to do so. And we need more people.
Yes. The interesting part, and you brought up a great point, you have to build relationships with your sponsors. It's not, we have over 40 organizations in town. I serve with Terry Ransom on Citizens Against Abuse board of directors, and great organization, but they want to support this program and others with the intent of giving the community an opportunity to learn more. Correct. It's all about making the educational edutainment that you provide is, as I've said before, just incredibly amazing with what the way it's put together. But you don't get that, you can never advertise too much. You've got a Facebook page as well, and you can never advertise too much. And bringing in the speakers that you brought in, there's a cost to that to pull the program off, right? So I would encourage people to look at the website. It is easy to find the donate button, and as you said, even good old regular mail
Yes.
is a good way to go as well, and that'll get to you.
And there's signs all around the community. There are flyers
Right.
in piles. We need people to pick up those piles and pass them amongst their friends.
So that's the other thing it takes. So
These are what they look like.
getting the word out, and making people aware. There's a major effort involved with that because you have to get permission of the businesses to put the information there. So that's a partnership.
Absolutely.
So volunteers and especially this organization, anyone who volunteers is wonderful to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the Bolingbrook ROTC. Like every single year, these last several years, they actually have been helping out, set up, ushering, and again,
Passing out snacks.
give the kudos to those young men and women. Who else? My family, my daughter Kendall, Paul Senior, Paul Junior, her son, and Janice's kids, Janice Haywood kids, and just individuals within the community just coming out and just assisting us. We have that so often as well.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on that, I mean, you see us sitting here, and Terry and Janice they're here too.
They're here.
And
They're here.
but we're just representatives of the community, and it really does take a village. I mean, we hear that phrase. This organization, this program, could not exist, and it could not continue to grow, could not continue to improve without all the support and the love that we have from the community, from our volunteers. I mean, so many people volunteer in so many different ways, and it takes every single person's contribution to make this happen. And it's amazing. And the reason the shows are so amazing every year and they get better is because at the end of the day, when you take like 50 people that contributed in one way or another, and it all comes together, as a united front, it's just amazing. It's like, wow, okay, this is what happens when you get, literally 50, 100 people working together in one shape or fashion. When we get a choir group that's 15, 20 people large, and they're practicing the songs to sing at the event, when, they're bringing their family, and we have different organizations bringing people and contributing in one form or fashion. It really, it's not the 4 or 5 or 6 of us, it's the 100 of us that is making this program run, all the wheels to turn in so many different ways. And just the smallest thing, someone saying, here's a donation, we like that, or someone saying, hey, I'll hand out some flyers at my church. just those little things that really just add up to something that's enormous and great.
You bring up just a astounding point, and you're absolutely correct. The people that you see who are on the boards are part of an organization. They're a very small piece compared to bringing an event to life and making it happen. The board and committee members along the way are meeting throughout the year, but to bring that event to life requires hundreds of people and volunteers.
Because they're meeting in March to raise money for the next year.
Oh yeah,
So-
you might get a day, you might get 2 days of rest, and then it's on to the next, as we've talked about. But I think it's very important for members of the community, residents, to understand that you don't have to be a 365-day, have that commitment all year round. You can be a part of the organization for event preparation and event delivery. And there are many, and the reason we do this broadcast is to make people aware there are many different ways to fit in.
And many different communities that are involved in the village.
And you get a chance not only to work with great people, but you get a chance to have some skills and develop some skills along the way and learn some things, but also bring your skills and let others learn from you. So that's my soapbox for that. Because this program, and we've got the other community organizations who put on festivals, and gives us a chance to learn about each other. The best thing about Bolingbrook is our diversity.
Absolutely.
And being able to experience that, and door to door, and make friends that children leave high school, and they go and they are able to interact with everyone in a much more comfortable fashion because the experience they had here growing up in Bolingbrook. I've only had dozens and hundreds of people tell me that, so it works out well. So let's talk about this year and give folks an understanding of what to expect this year, because I looked ahead and I saw some pretty cool things.
Yeah, so again, 24th year. Our main event this year would be Jesse White and the Jesse White Tumblers. They're actually it's their second time or third time around. And each time that they come, the kids really enjoy the performance that they provide the organization. Then we also have our special guest speaker, Miss Cheryl Green, which is our sponsor from the university, Governor State University. She's our keynote speaker this year. And as far as our MC, we actually have our very own newscaster, Art Norman from NBC News. And Anita could actually pick up on the rest of the acts that we're going to have.
After he does the main ones, right?
Sure.
Just a little correction. Dr. Green is our speaker, and we have the dance group, the Johnson family. So they will be performing, they're high school students, and they're going to be performing a dance routine that is going to blow your mind. We had the luxury of having a preview of the dance routine. I think they're getting ready to go on a professional level. So we're really excited about them. We have some poetry reading, and we have the RTC is going to do their step show or performance as they typically do. So we're just really excited. What we did this year is we made sure the Jesse White Tumblers are just so awesome, and they have so much of a routine. And what we've done in the past was not give them enough time. So this year we're going to give them enough time. So they are our main act, and we've kind of built around them. Jesse White is one of our award recipients, as well as Ernest Krim III. And so we're really excited about them being our Hall of Fame recipients. We have scholarship winners. We're not telling you who you are yet.
No.
but-
They have to. Do they have to be present to win? It'd be a good idea to show up anyway.
So we're excited about that. We give money to graduating seniors that are heading off to college, and that is to help offset the cost of college, which I don't think is going down anytime soon. And then we also have our honor roll students that we honor. This year's theme is education is elevation. And so we want to make sure that we really honor the honor roll students and support them and just kind of bring that whole education is elevation to life during the program. So that's kind of what we're going for.
I'm glad you brought up the theme. What I have seen, and I'm involved with a different organization with the school district, and the pivoting that the educators have had to do in these times with COVID and all of that, I want to give my appreciation to them for adapting. Tomorrow is going to be an example. By the way, we're live right now, but those who see this afterwards, tomorrow we've got some snow coming, and if I do a proper weather announcer, anywhere from 1 inch to 78 inches of snow. I saw that earlier today. So we've got some snow coming, and Valley View schools, because of COVID and the technology they put in place, they're calling it an e-learning day tomorrow. So the students are still going to be able to be getting an education. They may not be excited about that. They'd rather be on the hill behind Village Hall or
A real snow day.
some place like that, or and the pivot that they did with being able to put this technology in place was we don't have snow days anymore, so the school year doesn't get extended, which helps them get to the summer fun earlier. So, but we will have snow here in Bolingbrook for the next couple of days, and look out for your neighbors, and help those out. I've seen some folks in my neighborhood who have crossed the street and with their machinery and helped others out. So, it's really a nice thing to see and help people out. But back to the education piece, there's only so much that can be done in a school day. And so I really, and I've said this for years, and I've talked about the program that you put on, such a unique experience for someone to go above and beyond the curriculum that's presented in the schools. And they've certainly adapted and updated curriculum over time. So let's talk a little bit and maybe do a little historical perspective of some of the educational aspects of the program that you've done over the years. And we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I'm confident that you'll have some memories of some of the amazing things that you've done to educate those who are present at this event.
Yes, you're testing our memories. Okay. We've had a performer, Daryl Van Leer, and he's done a musical tribute piece for African Americans, going all the way back from slavery times all the way down to Stevie Wonder even. So that was just kind of educational through a music timeline. Also, we've had performance for Harriet Tubman. We've had a lot of things.
Well, I'll jump in on this one.
Okay.
Right. That the program itself is more than Martin Luther King.
Right.
Right. We've had a tribute to those individuals who had been married more than 25 years, 50 years. We honored Tallis Burns and his wife for being married like they were the most, they have been married the most out of everybody in the room, and the audience applaud. That these are individuals, he's a World War II veteran, these are individuals that are Black history, right? People who do what they do every single day that are not recognized on the wall of fame of people, they have a contribution as well. So we look forward to next year being 25 years when we can add Anita Kontok, Scott Curdy, and Bernard Winston to that list of people that you can say are heroes in our community.
That's a great point. And as you mentioned, that my
And,
memory.
excuse me, and Terry Ransom,
And Terry
and
Ransom,
Janice Hayward.
yeah.
You trying to get us killed. That's what you trying to do.
You know what?
And Felix.
When I see them, I'll let them know that he didn't speak up enough about that. I'll help you out.
Post editing.
thank
Post editing.
I'm there for you. The educational piece, and you're right. There are so many heroes, everyday heroes, who
Yes.
will not get. They just won't have that opportunity to get recognized, not by an unwillingness to recognize them, but they're not in the public eye. So, a couple of these speakers that I found to be extremely educational over the years, the commercial pilot,
Yes.
Tuskegee Airmen, a few folks along the way who,
Dee Dee Davis, who was on the Bernie Mac show.
yes, and being able to hear their story and what they went through to accomplish what they've done. That's a story that has to be told. And so your efforts in bringing in people who have had experiences in life that give a historical perspective and have gotten to today in their lives and are willing to give back and tell their stories, that's an amazing educational experience that I've enjoyed over the years. Some of the other experiences I had, I'm going to prompt you, and you jump in when you want, but the panel discussions that you've had, and bringing people together from what do you call it, news of the day or recent experiences that people have, and being able to talk about it or hear from different speakers in the panel. So those are some of the things that come to mind. The entertainment. It has a very good historical aspect to it,
Absolutely.
but it's also great entertainment. So
And all the little kids that get
Yes.
to participate
Yes.
in something that's on TV, that their friends get a chance to see them on TV for their academic achievements is another way of honoring those heroes like Jesse Jackson, like Dr. King, because it's their legacies that are marching around on that stage from the third grade on up. So,
yeah, I love when the children are brought up on stage and the reactions that they have along the way. And we grew up having to do performances in our school years or not, but having that experience and being in front of a crowd, certainly a crowd of that size, reinforces their efforts and their own education and the effort that they make.
Yeah, we had the Mantu dance group, and they did the African dance, and they were able to bring some of the children up to the stage and teach them some of the African dance moves, and they were really excited about learning that on the stage. And so that was part of the education and the background and things of that nature. So that was really, what's it called? Audience participation.
Yes.
So that was really fun to see those kids doing that as well.
I think it started, I guess our first year, we invited Mr. Leroy Brown. He actually came up with that concept. He was like, hey.
Senior, late
yeah.
Leroy Brown.
Oh,
Senior.
yeah. Yep.
He's the gentleman who brought this broadcast to the community
Oh, yeah.
many years ago and kept it going. So
Yes. Yes.
we didn't talk about the time of day. We talked about the date,
February 12th.
February 12th.
What time?
Yeah, February 12th at Bolingbrook High School. This year, we're actually having a college fair and a fraternity sorority Greek fair. That's from 1 to 2 p.m. So for those individuals that want opportunity to talk with some of the admissions colleges and universities, talk with the fraternities and sorority members on these college campuses, this is an ideal opportunity for you guys just to come out and talk to them. And the program is from 2 to 5 p.m. And again, it's free.
Is it free?
Free.
Free. Free drinks, free entertainment.
With not alcohol drinks.
No,
So
no.
don't get excited. I have to do the legal disclaimer.
Yes, it's a good thing you mentioned that.
Refreshments.
It is in the high school.
While quantities last.
Adult beverages are not allowed. So
Right. And masks are required.
yes, the school district masks are required. That's their policy. So good partnership between Valley View School District, Bolingbrook High School, and this organization.
Absolutely.
Can't thank them enough.
Yeah, it's and to have a facility like that. I mean, you know,
From the Levy Center.
we remember from the Levy Center, great facility.
Yes.
Right.
But due to your efforts, you were able to outgrow it.
Yes.
And that's a good problem to have.
It is a wonderful problem to have. Definitely.
I want to spend a few minutes, and you alluded to your, your experience in youth, and I want to talk somewhat about your accomplishments. We talked about graduating. You're an attorney. So I'm going to force you to share your stories a little bit right now and let our audience know kind of the path that you took to get to this point. And I'm going to have each of you do that, but we'll start here. So where'd you go to high school?
I went to Bolingbrook High School. So I graduated from Bolingbrook High School, and then I went off to a private college, Adrian College in Adrian, Michigan. And then I went to Indiana School of Law. We called it the Bobby Knight School at the time I was there. I was one of the youngest people in law school. I went into law school at the age of 20.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember in my contract class, the professor saying it was like a pre-law school type of class, because I was the first person to go to law school, first person to finish college, and in my family. And so I went into this program a little bit early, and he was going to take us all to the bar to study for contracts. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get in. I'm not 21. This is terrible. And I almost started to cry. And some of my older colleagues was like, come on, shut up. No one's going to card you. So I went in. The whole time I was there, I was like shaking. But I was able to learn something about contracts. I did not drink anything. And so that was interesting. And so by the time I finished law school, I was 24. So I went all the way through from high school, college, law school, and I took the bar exam and passed. And I kind of helped out some companies, and just I was doing anything because I put myself through college, I put myself through law school, and I was temp here, temp there. I was anything that could help pay the bills. I signed up for it. And after I passed the exam, I decided to hang up my own shingle. I looked around. There weren't any African-American attorneys at all in Bolingbrook. Not one. I couldn't find one because I was looking for a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who can be a mentor to me? I barely found any women that were attorneys here.
Yes.
So I found a few people who were, some were nice, some weren't. But I said, this is really strange. How come everyone that I know that's a minority feels like they have to go to Chicago to have representation? Because they weren't feeling comfortable, they weren't feeling heard. And I thought, that should change. So I kind of did a pros and cons, moved into my parents' basement. It was in Bolingbrook. Decided I won't be homeless if I hung up my own shingle. So I tried out. So I talked to them and said, give me a year, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, then I'll go work for a company who will pay my bills.
Yes.
And if it does work, great. So hung up my shingle, worked a lot of midnight shifts because I was the secretary and the receptionist and the attorney.
Yes.
And after my first year, I surprised my parents with purchasing my own house. And so it all kind of worked out. You couldn't go to Walmart without running into me because I was giving you a business card. I was like, "Hey, you need a lawyer? Here you go."
So a little marketing
A
activity.
lot. I was also the marketing company, so I wore all the hats. And that's kind of the time that I met Bernard. He came in because I was subleasing from an accountant, and he wanted to get some money from doing his taxes or something. I don't know. So I met Bernard, and then right around that time, because I used to do programming at my college, I was like, "Oh, what's going on for Black History Month?" So I literally had started my practice from December to January, that kind of time frame. And so now it's February, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And everyone's like, "What do you mean?" "Nothing." I'm like, "Nothing for Black History Month?" So somewhere between, we had like a month to put together our first program.
Wow.
So I said, "I'm going to put something together." I somehow just talked to Bernard. I just recently met him, and he was trying to be supportive and like, "Oh yeah, you're a lawyer. That's great. I'll get you a client." My sister, I shouldn't say this on camera, but I will. She was like, "If you ever need something, I can slip and fall." I was like, "Okay, thank you." But she never did. She never did.
That's a nice offer.
So I had support, and Bernard was giving me everybody that he could think of as a client. Did a lot of pro bono work. And so he said, "I can help you." And we went ahead and put that first program together, probably less than a month planning. Met Felix George along the way, talked to the mayor, Roger Clare at the time. He threw in the hat to support. And we were at the Levy Center, put together that first program.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And the reason I wanted to, and we're coming to the end of our program, but the reason I wanted everyone, you all have made a difference. You've all made an effort in your individual lives, and you have some amazing accomplishments that the youth in our community need to understand, that you can have obstacles, you can have challenges. That's what life's all about. That's what we're here for. And you have worked very hard to get there. It's not about not having an opportunity. You have to make the opportunities.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I think the message is. And so thank you for sharing, and I hope our viewers got some out of that. I want to thank the three of you for being here today. I'm going to see you on February 12th. I probably won't be there for the college fair.
Right.
But
You're not going to college again.
again, yeah, we'll talk about that journey. But I was at college for a while. But I want to thank the members of Bolingbrook Community Television for making this broadcast possible. And to all of you in Bolingbrook, I hope to see you on February 12th at Bolingbrook High School in the auditorium for this amazing event. And thank you all, and good night.